Could you make $500,000 this year?
100%.
Like that wouldn't even be a problem.
I make six figures without any advertising or marketing at all. So if I was able to have a budget,
Yeah.
then I would be doing insane things.
Hey guys, welcome to the show. We have one of my good friends, Jay Valentine, with us. He is not only a friend of mine, but he's also an artist. He's the only guy that I have murals done with, and he's also a businessman. So today in the episode, we're gonna interview him, talk about what his strategy for 2023 is regarding technology. You've got Chat GPT coming out. You've got a lot of technology coming out in the graphics world with artificial intelligence that's gonna change not only his industry, but also the real estate industry on top of that. We're gonna talk about how artists should be making money, and he's gonna show you guys how he's making money. We're gonna break those numbers down. We're also going to be talking about some of the art that he's done for me and why we did those pieces of art. We have actually a very special piece that you delivered today that Eric will be doing some B-roll of. Guys, give Eric some love down in the comments. He does so much work. Actually, he was not planning on being here. And I said, drop whatever you're doing, come over to the studio, let's film with Jay. I haven't seen Jay in probably 6 months or so. So
7, yeah.
This is gonna be a great episode. Make sure if you guys are just seeing this for the first time, you go over to Jay's channel, you follow Jay on Instagram. I have been using this guy's brilliant talents to showcase things that I'm excited about, Kanye or Outkast or other amazing things. And you'll see the piece today on top of it that he delivered to my home that is actually a gift for Jamil. Make sure you follow him. You're on Instagram at what?
jay.v.art.
Okay, j.v.art. Okay, and then on YouTube, what are you?
On YouTube, same thing, .jayvart.
So go over there. He's just brand new to the YouTube world, so go over there and give him some love. I'm trying to get him to be like the new age Bob Ross, where he shows you guys what he's actually doing, and he's painting little birds and doing all those kind of things. So Jay,
happy birds.
Welcome to the show, bro.
Hey, thank you, man.
So you're in Arizona today. What are you doing?
Just dropping off paintings, doing my little promo tour, and just doing my, just staying busy, talking to my clients, following up.
So here we are going into 2023. What is your business? What do you do? Do you do murals? Do you teach? What actually is your business?
I'm a painter. I paint murals. I paint canvases, and usually on commission. But what I'm trying to get into is the sales aspect and making the sales, not just making the artwork and getting the likes. So, you know, I focused on doing business with real estate guys and where the competition wasn't, you know.
Interesting. So I met you, I think, let's see, 6, maybe 7 years ago. You actually were on your way to prison.
Yeah.
And I pay attention to this, guys. We're not going to be talking about his whole prison thing today. I think we're going to talk about that in episode 2.
Yeah.
I think that conversation deserves an hour and a half by itself. But when you and I first met, I had actually not met you.
Yeah. Actually,
Here's what happens. I get introduced to you from Cody Sperber.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out Cody Sperber. Thank you for everything you've done for me, Cody. Mm-hmm. I saw his artwork that you painted in his office.
Yes.
Then I saw Jamil Damji had your artwork in his house. It was Tupac with the star. I don't know if you remember that piece.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I could not stop looking at this art. It was in Jamil's living room. First time I ever had dinner with Jamil. And I kept staring at this painting, and he's like, "What are you looking at?" I'm like, "Bro, I can't get my eyes off this painting. It's unbelievable." "Who painted it?" He goes, "Oh, it's this guy named Jay. I don't know him because Josiah bought this for me." Mm-hmm. And then I found out you painted something for Josiah, which was the
Anchorman
painting.
Yeah.
And I looked at that and I was like, this is epic. And when I got a little bit of money, this is about 7 years ago, I decided to reach out to you, and I had you paint my favorite painting I've ever seen, owned. I don't care if it's the Mona Lisa. I feel like this is the most valuable painting for me.
Yeah, for sure.
I commissioned you to paint a Kanye painting for me.
Yeah.
And what I really liked about your style is that I'm not an artist. Mm-hmm. You are. And I gave you inspiration, and you took it to a level that I had no idea was going to turn out as good as it did. And when the painting was delivered, it wasn't delivered by you.
Yes.
Do you remember this?
No.
Your wife had to deliver it.
Yeah, she had to, yeah.
Because you were on your way to prison.
Yeah.
Okay, you were on your way to prison. We'll get into that in a minute. But then when you get out of prison, how long were you in prison?
2.5 years.
Holy moly.
Yeah.
Was that your sentence?
No, I was sentenced to 5 years, but I went and did firefighting up north in California.
So you reduce your sentence by having good behavior.
Yeah, behavior and fighting wildfires and protecting the communities up north. Up
Okay.
north, yeah.
Love it. So you go 2.5 years, you come back, and your first painting that gets commissioned is also with me. So your last painting before prison
Yes.
and your first painting when you get home, I couldn't wait. And that was the painting that you painted for me that is Outcast painting.
Yes, that's true. Yeah.
And Eric will show some B-roll of both of these paintings. And the Outcast painting, I'm going to tell you what it has meant for me.
Okay.
And we'll get into like your ideas when somebody gives you something to commission, and what process do you go through to come up with the final art? Because I'm not an artist. I don't have that mechanism in my brain. You have something magical in you that like God gave you a gift, a spark that I don't have. So I go to Atlanta a lot. My favorite rap group is Outkast, has always been for 25 plus years. And I go to Atlanta, I see this mural in Little Five Points, downtown Atlanta, and it's a mural of Big Boy and Andre 3000.
Okay.
And I go, I need that painted. And so I reach out to your wife, and she's like, he's not back from prison yet, so you'll have to wait. So I waited, I think, half a year. You were kind of on the tail end, and she basically helped me set it up when you first got home. And you painted this painting for me. This is what's happened with this painting. Why did I want the Outcast mural so badly? Well, I put it behind me, okay? This is why I wanted you to paint this. Outkast has an album where 2 of the songs on the album are called The Art of Storytelling Part 1 and The Art of Storytelling Part 2. And why is that important to me? Well, because as a salesperson, somebody who's constantly promoting and talking about things and trying to sell a product and trying to convince employees to come work for me, that's a sales process too. Recruiting employees, raising capital, doing deals, all that kind of stuff. I resonate with the rap community, the hip hop community, and their ability to tell stories. And so I wanted to have Outkast behind me. Every time I'm live, I can see myself on this little screen, and I could see Outkast to remind me, don't try and tell people things, try and tell them stories.
Ooh, that's nice. I love
And it was a good reminder for me. What happened is we get this TV show, which you were on in season 1, Triple Digit Flip on A&E.
Yeah.
The way I got this show, pay attention to this. I don't know if you know this.
Okay.
This is really interesting.
Okay.
TV show reaches out to us. Hey, we want to do a Zoom with you to see if you're a good fit. We've got 8 other personalities that we're basically going back and forth with. So Jamila comes over to my house, which is very rare. He never came over to my house. And we did this Zoom with the network, and the mural was behind me.
Okay.
And it was the #1 part of the conversation. They said, wow, you guys are like big hip hop heads. You guys, I'm like, I'm huge. Outkast is my jam. I love Big Boy. Like, I'm trying to manifest a relationship with Big Boy. And they go, Big Boy's doing a TV show with us in about a year and a half.
Yeah.
And I go, you're joking me. And they go, we'll connect you. And I go, no, don't connect me. I want to earn that right by myself.
Love it. Yeah.
And they sent us an email and they said, because of your guys' hip hop vibe and that mural, we're going to tell 5 of the other 8 people that they're not a good fit. We want to go with you guys.
Love it. Yeah.
And because of you, and that painting was so prolific, it is so well done, like at such a high level. I'm blown away every time I see it. When people come into the studio and look at it, they go, damn, I thought this was a print. I go, dude, this is not a print.
Oh.
This thing took months to put together.
Well, the beauty of that painting too was that was a big important thing for me on my perspective too, because I had been painting while I was in prison, and I could not do what I was doing before, being wild and spraying and throwing paint everywhere. So I had to make things a lot tighter and cleaner. So that painting was like
a magnum opus when you first came
almost
out.
Like a master, almost like, yeah, like the epitome of everything I've been through and everything I've learned and I've modified and grown and upgraded. It's all in that painting.
Bro, I can see it. And so we get the TV show because of this. Instead of what they were going to do is they were going to say, hey, we need to film a sizzle reel with you, and you guys need to submit that to the network. The network sees the Zoom that we did, and they go, nope, get rid of the other 3 people. We want to go with these guys. They don't even need to do a sizzle reel because of your painting.
Wow, that's crazy. That's major.
That's major. But then here's what then happens. The next year, I'm doing a big live on YouTube, and Big Boy's son has a friend that was watching my live.
Oh, wicked.
And he goes, oh my gosh, that's Big Boy behind Pace.
Yeah.
So he sends it to Bamboo, Bamboo then sends it to his dad, and then Bamboo reaches out to me. We become friends.
Oh, wow.
And Bamboo joins my mentorship. He's now working and buying deals in real estate and stuff.
Love it.
He then introduces me to his dad, and now his dad and myself, a big boy, are partners on an apartment complex.
No way.
Yes, and now
Wow.
he's coming to my mastermind on the 27th of this month to come and speak.
That's awesome, man.
Bro, it's because of that
Congratulations.
painting. It helped me
Wow.
manifest a lot of my goals. And
Thank you.
art is so much more than just something that you look at. Art is one of these things that reminds you of your goals and what you're trying to aspire to. And so all of your paintings that you've done for me have been that important. The Kanye one,
That's awesome.
it's in our living room where we eat dinner.
Yeah.
And the Kanye one, what you did with it, you took my inspiration, you took it to a whole other level, and that's where my questions are going to start. I look at that Kanye painting and I see how much belief that man has in himself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Ultra confidence, and you put this painting in there where it's like it says 50 different things. It says this guy's confident in himself, but he's also in this moment of look how hard I worked to create this masterpiece, and he's listening to his own music. It's the most egotistical thing if you look at it negatively, but it's also the most positive thing if you look at it in that light. So if a client comes to you, first off, how do clients get a hold of you? Like how can somebody hire you?
Well, they'll just DM me,
On Instagram.
or email. Yeah.
So if somebody DMs you on Instagram, what are they saying? Like, hey man, I want to commission you to do something. That's what I did.
Yeah, pretty much. It's just I love your work. How much and how do I get started?
Okay, and you have different sizes. You can do anything.
Yeah, so generally, depending on what you want, you just drop a deposit and they'll lock you into either the price or the allotted time. A lot of guys, what they do is they'll just throw me a couple $1,000 to lock in the price, lock in everything. So when they're ready, they'll come.
I feel like you undercharged me on the Outcast painting.
Well, sure. Well,
Bro, you did. I mean, I don't remember what you charged exactly. I think it might have been you undercharged me. That's all I can say is the layers and the nuances and the messaging you put into that painting. I'm like, somebody would have paid $50,000 for this painting.
I'm glad you brought that up because that's something when it comes to art marketing. And there's something that a lot of artists don't understand. People think that, oh, well, I'm just going to make a painting and sell it for a lot of money. That's kind of, it's good, but it's also bad. When you have a painting and you're locking yourself into that 10, 20, $30,000 bracket, you're locked in there forever. You cannot go down. So for me, why? Because you need to build your foundation as an artist. You want to, I know the pyramid scheme, right? It's a bad notion, but as an artist, you want to build your clients at the low end, right? So when you're starting out and you got a low bracket, you want to drop in, you want to get as many clients as you can. And then as just by demand going up, you then slowly raise your price, not trying to eat away. Because my mantra is I'm here to enhance, not to take.
Right.
So I'm here to enhance your life. So yeah, if a badass painting was like $5,000, that's cool. But I know one day it's gonna be 20, and it's gonna be 30 and 40, and I'm gonna be locked into that price. But before I get there, I want a lot more guys like Pace and a lot more people that understand my growth and where we're going, because we're all coming up. Because as my value goes up, your paintings go up and your value goes up. So, and that was a big thing I wanted to, when I got out of prison, was I want to grow my brand and my value.
Yeah.
Because, and I've had that experience. You can get 1,000 likes on a post, but you're not going to make the sale. So then what kind of artist are you? Are you an artist to collect art, or to collect art collectors? To sell your art everywhere, or is your goal to just get likes and become a personality?
It's an interesting thing. I don't know any artist that makes money out there.
Really?
I don't know any other than you.
I can't conversate with them, period, because they just don't talk. So that's another thing, is just I always tried to find how to become an artist, how to sell my art, how to represent myself, and not one person talks about it or shows it. And then the ones that do, their artwork is not there. So their opinions and all their ideas are just ideas.
So what you're saying is that there's people out there that are basically throwing things out there that are not amazing art, and they're just trying to sell something. Yeah, and there's not a lot of power behind it or a lot of juice behind it.
Yeah, I mean, they're just basically they're doing it for the money. And when I first learned how to do it, I had to go into the dark side and say, man, I gotta make money because I was facing 25 to life. And when I was facing that, it's like, well, how am I gonna pay 7,000 to the lawyer? How am I gonna pay another 5,000 to the bail bondsman
Right.
every month
Right.
when I've only been making $1,000 a month?
It is interesting, you have money at your fingertips.
Yeah.
Like the fact that you go, if I go, hey, Jay, let's go buy this house together. I need 40 grand of your side and I'll bring in 40 grand to go buy this house. And we go 50-50. In your mind, what you do is you divide out how many paintings you got to do to get that 40 grand.
Yeah.
That's not how it works for me.
Yeah.
I don't have that.
Well, then for me, it's like you have a set value, and then I say, well, what can my powers do to this house to make more money out of it?
Of course, yeah.
So let me paint the walls, let me do little things here and there.
But that's a pretty cool thing is like so let's say somebody at your level, could you make right now, if I said, hey, Jay, I'm going to challenge you at the end of the year, could you make $500,000 this year?
100%.
Like that wouldn't even be a problem.
I make six figures without any advertising or marketing at all. So if I was able to have a budget,
yeah,
then I would be doing insane things like very big, beautiful, but again, it's all about that growth. But yeah, if I had a budget, even houses and how much fun was a fun idea for me to tell you about was Airbnbs. Everybody's got them.
Yeah.
And what happens when everybody's got them? It gets boring, right? So then it's like, well, why don't people have themed Airbnbs?
I have my number one Airbnb that does the best. Do you know which one it is?
Which one?
It's the one that you did the Rick and Morty stuff on.
Oh, wicked.
That we took the game room and did the Rick and Morty alien with the gun and they're jumping in through the window and all that stuff. That's my number one performing Airbnb.
Love it. Yeah, and that's the notion. It's the energy. And then this is how I got that idea because the notion of the Michelin stars.
Yeah.
Right? And how a restaurant, and if a restaurant gets the Michelin star, and you get 3 or 5.
3 is the top, yeah.
3. So 3 means that restaurant is worth the trip, driving, long range road trip, all that stuff to go out there. And I believe, well, why isn't that the same thing with Airbnbs? Like, why isn't the goal to go to the Airbnb?
Yeah. I think the theme, especially right now, Airbnbs are being suppressed and the economy is kind of slowing down a little bit. People are getting laid off. There's things happening, and people are having to reinvent themselves. And they're looking at their Airbnbs and they're going, I need to sell this thing because it's not doing well. I'm like, no, you need to amplify the experience.
Yeah, make it an Australian Airbnb. Make the backyard look like Australia. Why you got to be limited?
Right.
Why do you got to do what everybody does?
Have everybody else sell their Airbnbs. You should be making yours a theme that people go, I'm going here for the experience.
I want to go to India. Why you want to go and spend all this money and go through all that? Come to my Airbnb. Well, India's right here. We got everything beautiful. We've been collecting things all over the world, and it's all in this beautiful house.
Yeah, we took that room. So at the time, when you were painting that mural, I lived there.
Yeah.
And we then moved here, obviously, and we turned that room into a game room.
That's cool.
So you go in, there's a pool table in there, there's a video game thing, there's a little office in there so people can come in and hang out, and it's a vibe, bro. That was my first mural I had you paint on a wall.
Yes.
Everything else I had you do up until that point was a painting on canvas.
Yes.
What's your favorite thing to paint? Canvas, mural? I've seen you paint massive things like 100 feet by 20 feet tall, that one you did up on that guy's barn.
Yeah.
What is your favorite thing to paint?
Right now, it's weird. My favorite thing to paint is my little characters, but I like to just paint, period. I like to just like zone in and just paint for about 6 to 7 hours. So I'm super ADHD, so I get like I'll paint one fine art, a woman's face, and I get bored with it and I'll paint a Dark Liberty guy.
Yeah, it is interesting because when I was watching you paint, you were in my home for the 3rd or 4th time I had hired you, and I got to see your process. And then I also went down at the time you were officing in Cody Sperber's office, and I went into the office to pick up the Outcast painting, and I saw that he had like 6 or 7 paintings kind of all lined up. And you're like, oh yeah, I paint here for like 7 to 10 minutes, and then I'll paint on this for 3 hours. And then I'll come back to this because sometimes I get inspired by something I'm doing here that makes me go, oh, that's the missing link here. And just watching you bounce back and forth, you just have a brain that nobody else has.
Yeah, well, it's fun too because it's my audience, like you and my collectors. With my collectors, it's you guys let me have fun. You guys give me. So when there's a lot of stipulate, I don't want it like this, I don't want it like that, and it's so confining. My
Yeah.
style is pop impressionism. It's a street art vibe. It's very like, what is it now?
Mm,
Not very much planning. If it's planning, it needs to be very vague, you know. So the only planning I'm doing is just what energy do I want to feel from this painting,
love it.
you know. So I just want. I think what. Okay, so my favorite kind of paintings are my 80s to 90s movie characters.
Okay, so like Pulp Fiction, I've seen
Rocky,
Rocky, Marilyn Monroe,
yes.
Batman.
Batman, you know, like Michael Keaton
Hmm.
Batman. Those things are so cool because it's not only nostalgia, but there's a feeling you're gonna get because you watched it when you were a kid.
Yeah.
I'm tapping into like when life was awesome. And what I'm trying to do with my art and my whole vibe and my energy is trying to bring that awesome energy from the 80s, that Saturday morning cartoon energy,
Yeah.
you know, that like all that like super raw fun stuff that you know, I understand how the market world works. It's like, you know, if something works, let's all do it, make money. But that business mantra is just so soulless, you know. Everybody starts to do the same exact thing.
Well, what's interesting is I walk into every room that I have one of your paintings in,
Yeah.
it has an energy and a vibe that has been set by the painting. The
Mm-hmm.
painting sets a tone in that entire room.
Mm-hmm.
And like my studio, it's funny, people love going in my studio and they're like, man, why is your studio so fun to be in? I'm like, this freaking painting is literally a full wall and it presents a vibe and it presents an energy. Then you go in my living room, it's a completely different energy and a different vibe. Same thing when I go to Jamil's house or Josiah or the office where we have a couple of your paintings. The energy is, what's great is I'm not investing in a painting. Of course I am technically,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm really investing in something that's radiating an energy into a space that my people will feel every
Yes.
single day.
It becomes a totem. Yeah,
It
because
becomes a totem.
because I actually do a lot of stuff like that when I want to. Well, I actually learned this from this book, The Secret, I read. And the guy, and one of these examples was a guy he wanted to meet a beautiful woman.
Hmm.
So somehow they told him, well, put a painting or a picture of a beautiful woman up, and and she'll be attracted to you. And then by happenstance, one by the universe, they'll be attracted to you, right? So I've always thought of that stuff and always done it. When I need money, I'll paint money, and then money comes to
So weird, bro.
me.
It's so weird.
Yeah.
So let's say that I'm an artist out there
Okay.
and I want to make money because I'm printing shirts. I'm drawing with my pencil because I see you draw as well on an iPad and you'll come up with like something inspirational. So you're not using paint for the time being.
Hmm.
And then you'll kind of go, all right, now I'm ready to go to the board. Whatever I'm good at, are you somebody that can actually teach me how to make money from what I'm doing?
Yeah, 100%. I only started to really make money off my art after I took an art marketing class.
Mm,
I was taking art classes for 4 years. And as an artist, when you're really into it, you're like, oh, what am I going to be? What is my style? What is my technique?
yeah.
And that's all you worry about. And when you're in those high level classes, and my art teachers were great, man. The great thing about them is almost like a joke almost because you're painting so good, you're painting it into making it look like a picture.
Mm.
Therefore, you're competing with technology. So then I
Oh,
say to myself, well, why am I going to spend all this time to learn how to draw like a picture and then charge people more money than what a picture costs?
wow.
Because that's the problem with all those artists. They're great. They got their shoes off, ponytail, they're talking the talk, but they are not selling one thing.
Their shoes off and their
Yeah,
ponytail?
they got their ponytail and their little their energy going on like they're the man, but you see a lot of guys selling really bad art.
Yeah.
And there's a big mix, and that's what I want to share with everyone is how to do art marketing, how to market
Is
yourself.
that what you're going to be doing on your YouTube channel?
Yeah, so while I'm doing tutorials and painting, I'll be giving little tips and tricks on not only how to paint and do cool technique, but how to talk about yourself. A lot of artists are
What about pricing? What about like somebody, let's say that I don't think you have a mentorship, but I think you should have a mentorship.
yeah, I want to do one.
I think if you had a bunch of artists coming to you, people that are like, look, I'm good and I'm great at drawing, but one, I need somebody to teach me and how to amplify not only my art, but also my ability to make money. one of my favorite videographers on YouTube teaches people how to price their videos properly. Do you have the ability to teach people how to price their stuff and go, you should be charging this much for that, and because it's
Yeah,
this client?
what my teaching will be more of a mindset.
Okay.
Because my art teacher, my favorite art teacher, he would say his mantra was, "I'm not going to teach you how to draw. I'm going to teach you how to see."
Mm.
And that's the truth. Like his technique was, it was impossible for you to copy his technique because we would do live drawing classes. And that's live drawing classes is number one. Go to a community art school, go to a community college, and go to an art school if you really want to learn and put it out there. But the number one thing is to sit down and draw. But he would draw backwards. He would just draw shadows first, and then the darkest darks, and then he would teach us like that. And that was so hard for me to do, but I learned it.
Because he's seeing the end result and he's drawing the shadows first that are ultimately going to
Yeah.
be painted on top of.
Yeah.
That's really interesting,
Oh,
because
yeah.
what most people would do is they go, okay, I'm going to draw the human or the silhouette, the outline, and then I'm going to do all the thing, and then I'm going to start doing shadows last.
Yeah, no, that's last. In
Holy
the professional
moly.
world, the outlines are last. That's like the fun part. So let's save that for the end. Because,
Interesting.
yeah.
In real estate, it's really similar, right? How do we acquire a deal is the beginning, and then how do we sell the deal is like the shadow, it's the end, right?
Yeah.
And I tell people all the time, you need to start with how you're going to sell the deal in order to understand what the beginning should look like, right? Go to the end of the book, read the ending, and then it'll help you go and write the beginning of the book. Like, how do I get to that point? That's really interesting. I'm not going to teach you how to draw. I'm going to teach you how to see. Wow.
Because then you're confining too many things with drawing like this, drawing like that. I'm just going to teach you the nature of it. And
So what is your business going to look like over the next, let's say, 24 months? I see the economy shifting. People are not spending as much money right now. People are a little bit scared of like, oh
well,
my gosh.
the advent of AI going out there and the Dolly and all that stuff, there's a lot of artists that are going to not be allowed to grow anymore. The quick, here and there to make ends meet kind of thing. Those are gone.
I think people that are doing logos and like basic graphic design, I think that a good 80% of them are going to be replaced with AI this year.
100%. And the thing with all that is just that it was too comfortable. You're too comfortable and all that stuff. So what's going to be coming is a lot of people that want to stay as an artist and want to continue to make money. Then hey, dude, get off the digital and come into the brushes. Let's go do some old school stuff.
Yeah.
Let's go learn some proper techniques. So you have what is it called? Like a gambit of weapons, a gambit of skill sets.
Yeah.
Oh, the digital's gone. Boom, let's go paint. Oh, there's no water today. Cool, let's go digital. That's my mantra. My mantra is to never quit, never stop. If it's raining, then I'm gonna go do clay. If it's dry out, then you have to become a true artist in my perspective. I'm sorry, I get real mansplaining there, but I'm as an artist in my old school way, I wanted to learn it all, and I want to learn like a master, like Leonardo, like Frank Frazetta, and draw with the pencil, shading, master that pencil, and then go into the paints, and then sculptures, and then architecture. My end game is making movies and building houses.
Yeah, and you also have a comic book that you're going to start working on.
Yeah.
You have your own characters and your whole own world that you've created. And some of those you put on the first mural that I had you paint in my other house on Sterling. And I was like, what is this? You're like, this is one of my guys. This is one of my people I've created. And so you have this whole vision of, here's this world I'm creating and these NFTs that you're gonna mint these as NFTs and all that kind of stuff as well, right?
The thing with those characters was I made them really chibied out because as a parent, I'm a father, I'm 40 years old, and I have two children. I have a 13-year-old son and a 9-year-old daughter. And there's some things I want to warn them about with people and potential friends and all that without sounding like a doom and gloomer or making the world sound terrible or my kids just rolling their eyes at me because I'm just. So what I've done was I've developed and made little characters and literally draw them and point it out to my kids. Be careful with girls like this because look, you see she has no skin because she thinks she's so perfect. It's gross to have skin. And then now look, and then I'll explain little things, and it's an easier way for me to explain a deep a really serious adult fear to worry about. It's a real cautionary thing, because you can't sit there and tell kids pointing directly to people or say be careful with this or that. It's like you want to teach them how to see.
Yeah.
I want to teach them to see what people are and all that stuff. So that's what it's all about with those characters, and the way Disney's been going and the way all things have been going. It's like flip. I got to teach my children because I can't rely on Disney anymore. I can't rely on a proper message anymore. It's not the cadence anymore.
Yeah, it's really interesting how you have to change that up. I like that you're doing that in a way that is easier for them to understand. I remember when I was a kid, my parents would tell me things and I didn't understand them until I was 25.
Right.
And I'd
And
be
how
like,
does that help you?
I would have these aha moments like, oh, now I know what you're talking about. Like, why
Yeah.
did you explain it to me in such like parental high advisory levels that I couldn't
100%.
understand?
Yeah. And my son and my daughter, they're getting it, and they see stuff just because of this little cartoon character. And
Yeah.
oh, there's Golden Liberty. Why is he golden, Dad? Well, because he thinks he's better than everybody else, and he's gold, and he's got one this, and then he's got the spikes because he took over the world, and everybody has to do what he wants, but he's blinded. You see, he's only got one eye because the one-eyed man is the king in the world of the blind.
Yeah.
And then the king is next to him and he's blind. So
Interesting.
because pride is blind, So
Interesting.
I don't want to
Interesting.
teach them that boring stuff. So what I do is go, oh, look at this guy's blind because he thinks he's so cool.
I
You
love
think you're
that.
too cool?
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so people can go to your YouTube channel. They're going to be able to watch you paint. They're going to be able to watch you work with some of your clients' paintings and stuff like that. Also, they're going to be able to learn from you and say, hey, I want to learn how to make 6 figures or higher.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like, tell me if I'm wrong here. I feel like with your talent level and the clientele that you have, you could easily make $1 million a year.
Sure, absolutely.
What keeps you from making $1 million a year? Is it that you go, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. I don't want to sell out to this thing and sell at 100 grand for a painting? Because I know a lot of your clients.
Yeah.
And some of your clients are A list of A list of A list. Like you've done stuff for people that are crazy levels.
Well, yeah, I mean, the thing is I can do so much. It's just like I want to do it because of that.
Yeah.
There's just so many people that I could rub the wrong way if I become too aggressive or if I start coming on with a subject. So, yeah, I think that also getting out of prison, there was a lot of mental adjusting, a lot of psychological adjustments.
I remember when you first came out and we would have conversations and you were worried about what people were going to think of you because it was like, oh, I just got out of prison. I was like, bro, nobody cares.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that is now the case? When you first came out, you were like, oh my gosh, everybody's going to care that I just got out of prison?
No, not anymore. But but I was in it, and I was
Self-conscious?
there's just so much mental baggage when it comes to doing time, So there was all that just sitting in my head, just lagging.
Do you feel like
much.
feel like you've turned the
Doubt.
corner?
Absolutely. Yeah, I feel like
Is there a day that goes by where you don't think about your time in prison? Like, do you, to some degree?
now it's gone. Like now I don't think about it whatsoever because especially because now I've been free longer than I've been in down. So
Yeah.
now it's out of my memories. It's like I use it as a platform to remind myself, what it's like, or if something's bad happening. Well, wait, dude, I just fought 13 guys in a prison riot. I'm good. This little person yelling at me it's okay.
Yeah, I
know?
like that. What about when you were in prison? How were you taking care of your family? How could you afford to?
So I was hustling my paintings, selling them to the cops. The cops loved my artwork because they didn't believe I was an artist. They thought I was a drug dealer. So I'm like, look at my Instagram. They're like, oh, whoa, wait, you're a real artist? Hey, can you do this for my wife? And instantaneously, they think about themselves and their wife. So I'm like, sure, dude, just shoot me, get me 3 canvases, go to Michael's, pick this up. Boom, next day they got 4 or 5 canvases.
So you had police officers bringing in supplies.
And then some police were pissed off that I was playing the game. Like, what are you talking about? Just like Jordan Belfort says, that's when I learned, like, you can make money and you can do anything with the art of the sell and how to trade, how to do this. So yeah, I was hooking up guys with like forest paintings and like animals and ducks and like weird boring stuff that like, you know,
But that's what they wanted.
hunters like. Yeah. So for me, I didn't paint that stuff, but they loved it. So I'm like, boom, painted it. And they're like, thank you so much. They're cutting logs of manzanita, this really rare wood, cutting it. They're like, here, paint on this. I'm like, yeah. And then they're making like $4,000 desk out of it and then selling it. And
You're
they're,
joking me.
no, so they had their own little get down going. And I'm like, cool. So can you just send me? And then,
So did you get preferential treatment because of this?
yeah. So what they did was they would ship out my paintings too. And I would
Were
do it
they
under,
selling them?
no, I was selling them. My wife was,
Oh, okay. So they would help you ship them out to your clients.
yeah. And it was
So
just,
you were making money. Did you ever have prisoners pissed off that you were making money in
no,
prison?
only the cops were pissed off. One cop was saying, this is illegal what you're doing. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm just doing paintings and selling them. You guys know what I'm doing. That's your problem with the paintings because it's just a hobby.
Was he the boss or what?
No, he was just the bad cop.
So there was like a group of cops that were homies with you because you were hooking up their duck paintings and their paintings of their wife and their kids and doing all this stuff. And then there's one guy that was salty about it.
Yes.
How did you overcome that guy? Or did you not?
I actually just kissed his butt. I just kept. He was a real. He would like, so like we'll be jogging. He's like, "What's up, girls? What's up, girls?" I'm like, dude, you're just we would say weird, awkward stuff like, "Oh, stop trying to hit on us. You know you're good looking." He's like, "You guys," you know, just weird homosexual stuff. So that's the only way to keep him away from us.
So you were able to paint where? In your cell?
So no, so I'm in fire camp. So at fire camp, it's a level 1 prison. So it's real low level. Everybody's working and very busy. There's not a lot of crime or gang stuff because you're there to fight fires. You're there to get out. So the mentality is we're here to work. So the firefighters on Cal Fire, they had me doing graphic design and sticker print. So I was making the stickers and the highway prevention fire signs on the highway. And I actually generated with me and 2 other guys in our team, we were generating over $300,000 a year for Cal Fire. And that's just them doing orders within themselves for all the fire departments in California.
Because you created the graphics and then the highway patrol was ordering.
Customizing. Because before they only had stock stuff and it was real cheesy. And they realized I'm a real artist, so they had me doing all this good stuff.
Oh, wow.
So you go up north in the Chico, you'll see my fire prevention graphic design signs that I printed up. I got photos of everything of me in there. It got to the point where my captain, he got promoted to a high level because of my work, because of all our stuff, he became a helicopter captain, highest level captain to be, right?
Wow.
And then so the next captain came in, he was and he was trying to get me out. They fired him because he was after me. He was trying to get me busted. He was even trying to get me into fights with other inmates.
They were like protecting you.
Yeah, because I made them money.
Interesting.
It's not
bro.
it's not an egotistical
What's the lesson here for somebody in the audience? Like, let's say I'm a young kid, I'm 18 years old, I don't have any skills.
Become valuable to other people, because nobody cares. Because you're a child and you're still a rock being shaped into a sword. So until you become that sword, you need to become a valuable asset to other kings and other warriors that are already there and fighting. And that's why I say I'm here to enhance and not to take, because you know there's some guys that need to look good for their business and entertain and they're millionaires, but they want to look like billionaires and all that. And I'm here to bring that value, just to beautify things. And now I'm expanding into, I want to teach people, because there's so many people that don't understand. And matter of fact, you don't even need to be an artist to take my ideas, just like I took ideas from real estate guys. It's like, well, I can help you become creative. That's the weapon.
Yeah.
It's not about painting. It's not about sculpting. It's about being creative.
Yeah. And
getting yourself out of problems. Just like you got an Airbnb that's not doing anything, then just be creative.
Yeah.
Jordan Belfort in the Wolf of Wall Street, they say, handle all your problems with getting rich.
Yeah.
Right? That wasn't my mantra. My mantra was handle all your problems with being creative.
Yeah.
Just throw your art at them like a sword, like the weapon God gave me, and fight those demons back, because you got it.
Wow.
And when I do that stuff, I just pull from the void. I'm pulling from the nothingness to elicit an emotion from you or my client, any audience, because you paid for it, but all the people who watch your show, everybody who sees that painting, they get the value from it, even though it's a real subtle subconscious one. Those things stack through time, you know.
Okay, I think what we got to do is I think we should wrap this up. I think what we should do is we should come back for an episode 2 and talk about why you went to prison. Because a lot of people watching this right now are like, what, this is fascinating.
Yeah.
This guy's painting in prison. Eric, are you fascinated on this?
Yeah.
Do you know why he went to prison?
Cool.
See, this is
We'll
great.
Leave it, we'll leave it.
We'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
That story by itself is like some crazy stuff.
Yes.
So we'll do an episode 2, guys. Make a comment down below. Another thing I want you guys to do is make sure you go over to Jay's YouTube channel. Why? I think even if you're not trying to be an artist, if you're just somebody who's like, hey, I'm hanging out with my kids on a Saturday, have Jay show you how to get a canvas, have Jay show you how to go do this stuff, and do it as a hobby with your kids, and watch him and have fun as an activity. But also if you're an artist as a business operator and you're saying, man, I have this skill, but I don't know what to do with it. I don't know how to, Jay, I don't know how to become valuable. I have this sword, but I don't know how to use it properly. Jay's going to teach you how to do that on his YouTube channel. He's also, with my encouragement and other people's encouragement, I believe he's at a point where he's going to start a mentorship on how to show artists how to monetize, how to get creative, and how to become a valuable weapon for other people's arsenal. I know you've been super valuable for me, brother. It's been a relationship that here's what's funny is I've adored your art for so long before I reached out to you, that when I did reach out to you, I was like, hey man, hopefully I'm not bothering you.
Yeah.
Can I hire you type of thing? Like in my mind, you're this guy that's way up here because you have been valuable to me. I remember looking at Jamil's painting at dinner that night and just going, whoever painted this has a gift from God, man.
Well, how this all started was also from getting into $1 million listings. And I met how it actually all began with the real estate was $1 million listings, because I went out and I met Matt Altman. I seen him at an art show. I somehow got his number. I don't remember how. He actually hit me up, says, I love that Superman painting. How much? I go, bro, I'll give it to you. And he goes, sweet, come on, come over. That was it. I was already going back home to Arizona from the art show that I had met him at. So he said that. I'm like, oh my God. Right when I got home, I got the painting and I left again. Like 4 hours later at 3 a.m. in the morning, got there at 11, met him. He's like, oh, you're here. What's up? And I just brought the painting. I'm like, hey, here it is.
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, can you just put it on one of your houses and then sell it with the house just on one episode? He's like, what? No, dude, this is sick. I'm going to keep it. And he put it in his office. He gave me money. On top of it, gave me a client, which was Cody Sperber.
Oh, and then Cody
And
Sperber.
then it came from there.
Cody Sperber probably gave you a bunch of different clients, right?
Yeah, and then from there, I was able to get onto his platform and just grow from there and show the value of real estate and paintings and how they can just help each other out. And that was it.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Thank you for coming on the show.
For sure. Thank you.
I think, hey guys, if you want to see this, we're going to do another YouTube video about all of the art that Jay has painted for me in the past. I do have all of it here. I think we have probably 8 or 9 pieces inside my house. Some of them are actually attached to my house. And then we'll do some B-roll as well of the mural that he did in one of my Airbnbs, so you guys can see all of that. And we'll see you guys in other videos.